Hi, welcome back to Art of Awakening. My name is Ona, and it's time for monthly energy update and spirit animal reading for this time for the month of September 2020. And we're just coming out of these amazing energies of the Lion's Gate, looking forward to the fall equinox, at least in the northern hemisphere. And it feels like, integrating a lot of energy. So I've been really given a lot of stuff to relate to you about this time and preparing for the months ahead. And what I'm going to do is give those to you in another video, just because I want to do it outside. And the weather today is kind of a little bit icky. So what I'm going to do today is just a spirit animal reading, just straight up card reading for the month of September, touching into those equinox energies. I may do another one a little bit further on about those, but if you're ready, let's just get started. Okay, so I'm going to be using two decks for this reading. This is my Spirit Animal Awareness deck that a lot of you are familiar with. I'll put the link to that below. And this is a deck that was created, it's a brand new deck created by my friend Rita Morgan. And she is a very talented land healer. She works with the earth and land. And her Doors of Love and Light, just beautiful deck that she's just created. I may actually make a video just introducing this. Because I've been playing with it just a little bit and really like it. So I'm going to be doing a 4 directions spread using the spirit animals, and then we're going to open a door in the middle for the month of September. So I'm just going to set that aside for the time being. And so as I shuffle here, just keeping aware that, of course, these are crazy energies that we're navigating. This is a time of, I'm being told, deconstruction and reconstruction, right? Because we're moving from this 3D timeline, this kind of illusion matrix that we've all been caught up in for thousands of years, and breaking out of that, moving into these 5D energies, which is really more the energies of coming into our truth, of more, joy and light in the world, and more harmony. So this is, like any change is going to involve letting go of the old and welcoming in the new. Sometimes this can feel very chaotic. So, it is a process. So if you are a person, I'm kind of feeling that there's going to be two basic groups of people here that may be watching this, and we are all still, to one degree or another, still in that 3D timeline. But then as we progress on our own individual journeys, and the collective is doing this too, we start to welcome in those energies of, those new energies of 5D more and more. And so there's going to be, and this, you can dip back and forth, right? And this is what's called 4Ds, that we're kind of shifting back and forth between those as we progress, right? And so you may be at this point where you're still largely working through a lot of these and clearing out, right, a lot of these 3D energies. Or you may have started to feel a shift to where you're experiencing more and more of the 5D energy, where things start to flow more easily. That said, whichever group you tend to fall in, remember, it's a progression, and you may have days where you're more in one or more of the other. Okay, so this reading may resonate in different ways with different people. I'll try to speak a little bit to both groups. Basically, the first group is going to be experiencing more of the challenges, more of the purging kind of stuff, emotional upheavals, that kind of thing, as you move more into the 5D. And again, this can happen day by day. You'll be experiencing more of the joy and more of the creative flow. And so what we're going to do here is just 4 direction spread for the month of September. You can think of this as week by week, right? Or just take it as a whole. It'll work both ways. And this isn't a prediction, it's just a kind of feeling into those energies and how can we support what's going on within ourselves and within the collective. So the way I'm facing is south. So this is actually east here. I'm gonna flip open this card first in the east, and this is the direction of the rising sun. This is the direction of new beginnings, welcoming new things in, life force energy coming up here. And it could be, you could also see it as like the first week of September. Skunk energy coming up. Skunk coming up as an ally. So skunk in his positive aspect, you know, he's really chill, right? Because he knows he's got this amazing protection. And so he can just sort of walk around. Now, there are some certain things that will, you know, prey upon skunks, owls, I believe, and so forth. But so he does still have to be aware. But most things aren't going to tangle with him, right? And so he really does have this sense of, I'm protected and I can just be chill and just kind of walk into whatever situation and not have to get upset. And if he does get, you know, upset, he really gives warning first, right? And he's able to just sort of, rather than a quick boom reaction and biting somebody's head off or running away in fright or whatever, he can assess the situation, right? And then he knows how to communicate, right? And he also knows that he's got, you know, he's got his boundaries that you don't want to cross, right? But he communicates that. Okay, so this is I'm feeling a lot about the emotional and mastering the emotions. And so once we are out of this whole reactive phase, then we can step into being able to just really assess the situation and show our boundaries, you know, communicate what the consequences may be, right, if our boundaries are crossed, but without getting all flustered, right, and without biting people's heads off or growling or, you know, anything like that. Opposite side of the flip side of this is you know, just kind of explosive, making a stink kind of thing, right? So if you don't have your skunk energy, you know, really mastered, then it can really be a huge stink bomb. Okay, so just kind of look out for that. The antidote, of course, is awareness, and it also is connecting with the you know, the divine Mother Earth, with your divine spirit team, connecting with the source energy, right? Always connecting. So that daily connection. This color, I think, is super relevant right here, because I've really been instructed to work a lot with the Earth Star chakra. I've been seeing it as a lot of these colors of brown and gold. I'll talk about that more in the next video. And next one, and this is going to be, remember, in the south, because I'm facing south, and this is week 2. Now, spider energy coming up for week 2. A positive aspect of spider, super creative. It might be a really good week to really dive into some kind of creative project. This is another thing that are being shown, and we'll talk about that more in the next video. But super support for creativity of all kinds. If you haven't figured out, you know, what your next creative project is, maybe think about that, okay? And maybe start delving into that. September has great energies for that. Flip side of that would be the kind of entanglement, right? Moving more into entangled emotions, entangling in relationships, entanglements of all sorts. And these are the blocks that hold us, right? And so some of the things that we can do to counteract that in meditation, if you're working with the spirit animals, hummingbird spirit is a great one to counteract that spider kind of entanglement. Hummingbirds eat a lot of spiders, and they're really kind of like about this joy and proactive, also territorial, right? Hummingbird's very territorial, so mind your boundaries. But remember with the skunk to communicate about your boundaries before you start going off. Okay, so and moving into the west, Otter coming up as a bit of a challenger. So there may be a little bit of stickiness about whatever's coming up for Otter energy. I'm going to just sort of turn it over so you can see the card a little better. Okay, so Otter can be like a super kind of high drive. animal. So in its positive aspect, and also looking at this third week of September, which is going to be around when the equinox happens, it could be a lot of if you're riding the upside of these waves, could be a very productive kind of week. And it could be you can choose actually to make it really fun. Like, look for how can we make this fun, right? How can we take whatever it is that we're working on and really have a ball with it? Okay, so the flip side of that, and remember, this was coming up as a challenger, so there may be a lot of intensity around, um, you know, flip side of playfulness, of course, if it is aggressiveness, right? Playfulness is sort of aggression channeled in a positive way. So, just be on the lookout. You might want to just keep things chill if you feel like, things around you could get aggressive or kind of blow up. Then, just get chill, maybe go home, play some games, whatever. Um, and also be on the lookout for any kind of signs of like going into overdrive, right? Or this could show up in terms of food cravings, or could show up in terms of like workaholism, that kind of thing. So I'm just going to kind of leave this because that's how it showed up. um, I'm going to intentionally turn this over and let's really intend, because we can start choosing the reality that we create, right? So let's intend to really move into and bring in and play with the otter energy in its positive aspect while staying aware of how it can go into its negative aspect. Okay, and for the final week of September, earthworm showing up. Okay, again, that root star, that earth star chakra, super important right now to be working with. That is like located about a foot below the bottom of your feet. It's this chakra it's very similar to the root chakra, except it's a little bit more universal. So really connecting your entire energy field to Mother Earth. It's that connection point, and it's also kind of a shared chakra, right? In which we are connecting also with humanity. So a beautiful one, especially if you are already experiencing a lot of the 5D energies. Rooting into that Earth Star chakra right now is really going to be very helpful for the collective, because it's going to just be strengthening, those kind of um, root essences of safety, security, helping to anchor those feelings down into it. So if you are feeling like you're doing pretty well, definitely feel into that earth star chakra, work on opening that up, and you're going to be assisting the collective. Even if you are struggling, right, this is a beautiful chakra to work with, and whatever work you do, of course, is going to be helping the collective too, but it will really, really help to anchor you and help to stabilize any kind of um, stuff that's coming up that maybe, intense emotions. Um, okay, so earthworm itself, a lot of, I'm kind of getting just planning ahead. It can be very like kind of conservation. It's very much about like ecology and relationships, and creating that kind of stable base. Earthworms they're really great for soil building, right? And so this is a time at the late September that the energies could be very welcoming to any kind of projects that have to do with, um, preparing to get through the winter so that we can have a beautiful, bountiful harvest next year. Um, it could be about just rooting in, grounding in. I'm getting a lot of preparation for winter, preparation for the seasons ahead. Um, just maybe take some days and sleep in, right? Give your body a rest, feel into that, kind of watching also wealth accumulation, right? So looking at your finances and seeing, well, what can we do to strengthen the finances, right? To reduce the debt, to use our resources wisely. Okay. Flip side of Earthworm, it can be kind of, um, the card says tunnel vision. So sort of like, it's sort of like if you know, like earth element can get sort of bound and stuck, right? And just not really open-minded. So just kind of watch for that. But it is coming up as an ally, so I think it feels like that's going to be a nice one for this end of September, moving into October energies, just to work with those kind of energies. A lot of the stuff is coming up with kind of connecting with the earth here. And so for the center here, for this within space and opening a door of love and light for the month of September, let's choose one of these beautiful cards, and I just want to show you. These are just so beautiful, and it so reminds me of my friend Rita, who created the deck because she loves to wear tie-dye. And which one is this one? I think is calling. And this is deck number 45. Now we can intuit, and I'm just seeing almost they remind me of geese, and of course the geese are beginning to fly south. At least here I've seen them, a lot of them lately. So geese to me is teamwork. It's a lot of family loyalty and sticking together as a team. Everybody doing their part, and just kind of this harmonious working together. I'm seeing this golden light coming down. So one thing that maybe is being suggested here, if you want to partake in this, is really just maybe every day, just imagine this golden light coming down into earth, coming down into the collective earth star chakra, and just really illuminating that, bring this beautiful golden energy into the collective root. And if we can all do that, as many days as you can remember to do that in September as you feel guided, then it's going to make a difference, because the energies that we work with, it does make a difference. And when there's many working together in harmony, then it makes an even bigger difference. Okay, so what she's saying is number 45 here, Miracle Zone, blessing the waters of the earth. I'm just going to read to you what she says here. When Deborah Halpern Poneman describes about being in the miracle zone, she talks about when one person is in the miracle. Oh, look, listen to this. I swear to God, I have not looked at this book so thoroughly as to know this. I haven't pulled this card before. She talks about when one person is in the miracle zone, then others can follow, similar to a flock of geese. She says, just before I heard this message, I blessed a gallon of water with a full moon meditation and was inspired to share this blessing with the waters of the world. As I created this meditation video, a flock of geese flew right in front of me. During the closing words, it felt as though the geese were taking the blessings with them as they traveled, helping to share the blessings. Later that day, I heard Deborah's meditation. A friend shared her revelation of geese as well. These reflections of the geese in the miracle zone led to this card of sharing blessings to all the waters of the world. May you always be in the miracle zone. This is beautiful. This is a lot of what I love to share in this channel, is being in your own miracle zone, in your own genius zone. And the more that we can bring ourselves into our own zone of genius, our own zone of miracles, the more every time that we have every vibration that we hold, okay, we're always anchoring some kind of vibration in ourselves, and that's always going to affect everything around us, right? So the vibration that you hold affects the universe, but especially, the world around us. And so I'm going to just kind of give an overall reading for here. I'm seeing a lot of kind of creativity moving into some playfulness, right? And being able to play with our creative power, right? We each have this creative power to create our lives as a work of art, right? To really, if you can imagine it, you can create it. So believe that. It does take boundaries, right? So Skunk Tea tells us that, because we start getting pulled into, energies that aren't serving us, if things can get a little stinky. But helping, grounding ourselves, bringing in joy and playfulness, it helps us to move back into that beautiful miracle zone that we all have at the center. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful. Like I said, I am going to be uploading another video more on an energy update for this time. And if I would love to hear your comments. So if you have more to offer to the collective, additional insights, put your comments below. Would love to hear that, and may help somebody else as well. Always appreciate your likes, your shares, your subscribes. And by the way, I'd love if you would follow me on Facebook as well, so I'll leave that link there. So thank you so much. I love you all so much. It's such a pleasure to be connected with all my viewers here. So just big thanks, and we'll catch you again soon.